Howdy there, my name is Dolan Daview, and today, well, we're gonna take a look at...
Never a dull moment, huh, Sully?
You're gonna keep going, aren't you?
No, not that, you bumbling idiots. This one.
Guess I'll keep on living.
What?
Now, before we get into this, I'd like to flop out some personal history onto the table and illustrate to you why Uncharted means a lot to me personally. So, when I was just a wee little lad hopping along like a little rabbit, I stumbled upon the game Uncharted somehow. And ooh, I tell ya, I loved it. And the second one, whoo, even better. And then when the third one was coming out, there was a whooping cough outbreak at my school, and I got to stay home and play the whole fucking game. Mwah, it was beautiful. Although, I will admit, I haven't played the entirety of the fourth one. I played about half of it. And, well, I lost the data, essentially. I mean, I deleted it. I don't know. It's fucked. It's gone. It's gone. Okay? And now I have to restart the game. I'll do that in the near future. All in all, I loved Uncharted. It was a big part of me growing up. And so when I heard that there was a possibility of a movie coming out, I was always excited. And I was excited for a very long time because, boy, this movie has had quite the run. Let's get through this. Gonna roll the video. Need to find a better way of checking sound. 2007. The Uncharted franchise begins, and it wins PS3 Game of the Year, and it's our first time of hearing somebody interested in making an Uncharted movie with Zachary Levi wanting to become Nathan Drake. 2008. Avi Arad, a producer, finds some other producers whose names I don't know off the top of my head and starts to get a script from Joshua Oppenheimer and Thomas Dane Denelli. 2009. Uncharted 2 comes out to massive critical acclaim and becomes one of the most iconic video games of all time. 2010. The Uncharted movie is completely scrapped and restarted with notable filmmaker David O. Russell.
Fuck you! I'm just trying to fucking help you. Do you understand me?
No, you're
I'm being a fucking collaborator. I'm just trying to help you figure out
You're-
the fucking thing. Hey, bitch! I'm not here to be fucking yelled at. I worked on this fucking thing for 3 fucking years.
Oh, David Russell, you dirty dog. And a dirty dog he was as he brought in frequent collaborators Mark Wahlberg to play the one and only Nathan Drake, as well as Robert De Niro as Sully, and Joe Pesci as an unspecified uncle, as well as Scarlett Johansson and Amy Adams in unspecified roles. All fantastic actors, but for an Uncharted movie, maybe not the best choice. 2011. David O. Russell leaves the project over creative differences with Sony. Now, what were the specifics of these creative differences? Well, let me tell you. Well, first off, David O. Russell didn't really want to make an Uncharted movie. He just wanted to make a movie that was inspired kind of by Uncharted. God, the movie was to follow a family gang of international thieves that would perform art heists around the world. In the end, not having much to do with Uncharted's actual stories from the games. Oh, and some guy named Neil Berger is brought in to completely restart the project. And the beautiful, the glorious, the wonderful Uncharted 3 is released, still to no movie. 2012. Ooh, Neil Berger, sorry to see you go so soon, but I guess you had to go on and make Divergent. So then some other writers by the names of Marianne and Cormac Wibberley are brought in to rewrite the script. 2013. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are approached by Sony on multiple occasions to take helm of the project. Although they turned it down every single occasion as they said they couldn't come up with an idea cool enough that wasn't just Indiana Jones. 2014. Seth Gordon is brought in to direct the film, and David Guggenheim would now pen the script. Oh my god, and Sony was so confident that the movie would finally be made that they even put a June release date on the film. What? Although by the end of the year, Guggenheim failed us, and Mark Bull, an award-winning screenwriter, was brought on to rewrite the film. We are all also then very deeply heartbroken as Mark Wahlberg says that he cannot play Nathan Drake as he was primarily wanting to do the project because of David O. Russell. So with Mark Wahlberg dropping out, the studio then offers it to the hottest name in town, Chris Pratt. 2015. Seth Gordon leaves the project as the studio wants to go in a route that is more in line with the games themselves. Great! Oh, and then David Guggenheim's script leaks online and whoo, it's a stinker. All right. There's a lot to go through here, so let me just run through the notes on how fucking awful this script is. So first off, Nathan Drake is a full-blown womanizer. Ooh, we love those. And there's a line in the script, I can't quote it exactly, but apparently Nathan takes off his shirt, and it says something like, his muscles aren't ones that you would earn in the gym, they're ones that you get from dodging bullets. It's along the lines of that. Look it up. I swear to ya. Essentially, they were trying to do something that was in line with Daniel Craig as the new Bond. You know, sleek and sexy. And, oh, that's not Nathan Drake. What the fuck? And now the last thing I want to say about Guggenheim's script, as it is a lot to break down, there is a scene when Nathan Drake is trying to get the ring back from this bad guy. Right? So Nathan breaks into the bad guy's facility and goes into the master bedroom where he is having the fucking. And while this bad guy is having sexy sex, Nathan decides there is no better time to attack than now, so he attacks him, and the man is fully erect. Penis and all just hanging out there, and there's a full-blown naked fight. Yep. So then Elena shows up, and what? She's a cop, huh? But what you guys don't know is that the scene prior to this one is Nathan and Elena meeting for the very first time. They meet at a bar, and within the course of just a couple of pages, they are already doing the serious fucking. Because that's how things happen. That's what we should be representing for our children. 2016. Joe Carnahan is brought in to write the script, and Sean Levy is brought in to direct. Uncharted 4 is released to, yet again, massive critical acclaim. 2017. The one, the only, Tom Holland joins the cast. And then Joe Carnahan talks to the press, right? This man talks to the press about the Uncharted script without even turning it into the studio. So that's a big no-no. And he goes on talking, blabbing about how his R-rated version is pretty nifty, but is then let go from the project as, like I said, he never even fucking turned it into the studio. Idiot. And then, Rafi Judkins is brought in to rewrite the whole script. So, 2018! And when we think we're so close, Sean Levy, our director at the time, drops out. He leaves the project to go and make fucking Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. 2019. Dan Trachtenberg is attached to direct, but then leaves the project for unknown reason. Travis Knight is brought on to direct, but leaves because of scheduling conflicts. We don't have any goddamn director, what are we gonna do? Well, with the film deciding to focus on young Nathan Drake, they are now looking for a slightly younger Sully. So who's the first actor that comes to mind when you think of Sully? Chris Pine. Yeah, so they were looking at Chris Pine, Woody Harrelson, Chris Hemsworth, and Matthew McConaughey. They were all being considered for Sully before fucking Mark Wahlberg came back and stole the role because what a great choice. 2020. And finally we find a director in Ruben Fleischer. And obviously they start shooting the movie and then we get what we have today.
Hey, you still with me?
Barely.
Oh, this is gonna suck!
He's really just Peter Parker, isn't he?
But I mean, the fear of missing out can happen to anyone, like when our characters, Nate and Sully, don't want to miss out on finding Magellan's hidden treasure.
Yeah, but that is $5 billion worth of FOMO. I'd FOMO about that too.
$5 billion. Well, I tell you what, people, I am absolutely not excited for this movie. I already have predictions for how it's going to go and how I'm going to feel about it. I hope that they are all subverted, though, to say the least. See you on the other side. I'm not crying, it's just the water from the bath I drew myself. So, I just saw the Uncharted movie. And I got some stuff to say about it. So, before we get into the real deep down discussion of all this, the breakdown, if you will, just a spoiler-filled rundown, some notes that we took when we were watching the film. So one of the main issues I want to talk about right away is the music. It's terrible. They use fucking pop music when he's like walking down the street and stuff. What is this? The composed music, like the score for the film, is a little too hip. All right, so let's talk about Tom Holland, okay? I personally don't like that they did the young Nathan Drake. I don't think many were pleased. There's no need for an origin story. Tom Holland, he's trying too hard to be cocky, to be bravado, you know? They put him in these leather jackets. Listen, they did get it at some points with Timmy Tim. In the end, he's kind of wearing the iconic gear and it's nice. There's something that comes up many times where fucking Tom Holland, because it's not Nathan Drake, it's just Tom Holland. And every time he gets a letter from his brother, he opens it and there is an absurdly dramatic voiceover. It's very soap opera-esque. Funny stuff. And it doesn't happen once or twice or thrice. It happens multiple times. And sometimes it happens several times in a row when he's opening like different letters. I mean, the puzzles in this movie, they're pretty much Rise of Skywalker level bad. It's like, oh, wait, I'm in this certain spot at this certain time and I'm holding it this way and wait, it just makes sense now. Hey, we solved it, guys, a high five. I mean, just honestly, all the jokes really fall so fucking flat.
There has to be another keyhole up there somewhere that opens this door!
I'm like literally in a Papa John's right now.
You know, you've heard these lines before. You've heard all these jokes and all these lines before. They are not unique. They're not original. They are not true to the characters.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. I'm sitting right next to you.
So to kind of sum all this up, I've heard it said across some sites and some reviews, and it's said very well in other places. But it feels like the movie was completely made out of the casting of Tom Holland. It's like, hey, Tom Holland's young. Let's make this an origin story because he's young. And this is just Mocky Mock and Timmy Tim strutting around in the skibbies, shooting some stuff and swapping some quips. It's a piece of shit, and it's okay if you like it. So now let's talk about why this movie is kind of a problem. So, I learned a new vital piece of information about the making of the Uncharted movie that we have now. So I guess one of the main reasons why Tom Holland is attached to this project as Nathan Drake is because he went to Sony pitching a young James Bond movie. They turned it down and said, hey, here's Uncharted. And so that's kind of why it feels a little like a wannabe teenage James Bond movie, but with splashes of Uncharted. It just doesn't work. This is not the Uncharted movie that we should have fucking gotten. Also, I work at a movie theater, and throughout the weekend, I have had multiple people come up to me after the movie and tell me, whew, that was not a good one. Although, I've also had some other people come up to me and say, whew, that was not that bad. But nobody's come out of the thing with their fucking eyes blown out being like amazed by the movie or anything. I mean, in the end, to each their own. But to make some sort of a statement and try and comment on this very hollow piece of work, I'll say this. The Uncharted movie has been trying to get off the ground since the release of the first game, with plenty of odd choices for those to helm the film as well as those to portray the characters. It's a shame that we ended up with something so bland and uninspired from the strong source material that it's based on. And I feel that this is primarily due to the casting of Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Mark has since stated that when he got the call that the film was finally being made, he thought it was for Drake, which he signed on for, when in actuality it was for Sully because Timmy Tom was Drake. And when he read the script, he thought, oh, I'm up in a helicopter? Well, that's way easier, hell yeah. What scares me is that the film really only got off the ground when these superstars approached them wanting to make an action movie, not an Uncharted movie. So, well, why not just make an action movie with these two? I bet you it'll do just as well with these two likable superstars. And I think that's the main point I'm trying to make here. These actors should be hired on to play characters. They shouldn't be brought on by their name, status, and to then essentially play themselves. Cause then that's essentially like attaching an influencer to your movie. And yes, actors have fans and audiences, but I see a lot of actors now, such as Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, or Chris Pratt. And instead of making a good movie with a strong script and good characters, they're just putting these actors at the forefront doing their thing. There's no need to have a limp dick start to a franchise where the stories are already strong enough, and the film should practically write themselves. I mean, for Christ's sake, they were always praised for their cinematic quality anyways. So it's just bizarre that we got an entire movie based on a few of the least interesting levels in the games. I guarantee you that there are actors and filmmakers out there who would have loved to create a film based on this franchise and poured their heart and soul into creating something true to the games and also fresh for audiences. PlayStation Productions here, I feel, was trying to get the starting edge on video game movie franchises and just wanted to get this damn thing out there. Oh god. Both of these actors, I feel, never really wanted to do this film because of a genuine love for the franchise, but a love for what this half-inspired genre film could ultimately spawn as a franchise if successful. Oh, well, looks like they got their wish. Congrats, Timmy Tim and Mocky Mock. Well, that'll be the end of that. My name is Dolan Dayview. Stay tuned. There's a lot more to come. If you like this, please let me know. I want to do more like this, but I definitely want to change up the format. I was still kind of figuring it out as this is my first video essay inspired piece. So I know it's a bit messy, but it was still kind of fun and I loved figuring it out, and please share some love.